Greetings. Ani, Bojo, Kwekwe, Tanzi, Scano. Hello, it's Catherine and Brian from Moonstarlodge in South Central Ontario, Canada, with your reading for June 22nd to the 28th inclusive. And we've got a few new subscribers, and so I thought I'd better introduce who we are and what we do. Brian and I are Indigenous. I am Anishinaabe and Mi'kmaq, and Brian's background is Mi'kmaq. We have been together running Moonstarlodge for a very long time. I started it 44 years ago, and it's been a big deal dealing with Indigenous art, spirituality, and education. We worked a lot with different government ministries and private contracts in the community, but our service to continuation of the traditions of Indigenous healing, medicine wheel gardens, all of these things have been a big part of our lives. I've been a professional medium since just after I graduated university, when I went off after 7 years of parapsychology and psychology training. I went into the Spiritualist Church and became a licensed minister. I transferred that license out of the Spiritualist Church into Indigenous traditions in the early 90s and have been doing that ever since. I've been a tarot enthusiast since my psychology days, because so much of this is involving Jungian archetypes. So I have a collection of about 1,850 decks at this time, and about 150 to 160 reference resource historical manuals. I have so many that I have to use library software to keep them straight. But I have loved them, and since I've been collecting since 1972, it's been glorious learning about the archetypal traditions from around the world. I have an art studio. Brian has a woodworking studio, and together we're getting up there in years, but we're still trying to bring readings to the greater community and bring our Indigenous perspective to these readings. So with that being said, this week's group of decks, we're covering the June 22nd to 28th period. By the time we get to the end of this reading, it's the day before the next full moon, and it is a micro full moon on the 29th. So there's preparation for that. We're still in the grandmother moon cycle of loves all things, and we're still in the astrological sign of Cancer. So all that being said, there's some new decks this week that I have never used on camera before, and a lot of them have to do with the land and archetypes. So without further ado, let's go to the cards, Brian. So this line of tarot is from the Blood Moon Tarot, and these decks, most of which are tarot as well, are being used in a clarifying position. But of course, we read the lineup of cards, not just one above the other, but relative to each other. Our significator card is Temperance, and I love the Temperance card. That's the alchemist of change and transmorphing things. She's the artist, she's an angel, and she's a delight because she makes something new out of disparate things. It's always searching to make a blending thing and raise the vibration of this thing to new heights. So we are collectively, because this is a general reading for the collective, we are all under the influence of temperance. And it's being clarified by the ancestor card I use the Marigold Tarot very often for our ancestors, and this is a deck by Amrit Brar. The Lover's card is clarifying. This is the information the ancestors want us to bring, the energy of the lovers to the energy of temperance. To love oneself, to be whole and complete is just as important as having a significant other. We cannot be whole and fully ourselves in completeness to another person if we are not whole, the yin and the yang, so to speak, to ourselves. So by bringing this wholeness and this completeness into what we are transmuting here and creating is quite exciting. So that's a wonderfully supportive message from our ancestors. The Six of Skins is the Six of Wands in this particular deck. And this is a community acknowledgement of success, a successful journey, a successful triumph, from what was the ace in the sense of choosing a journey and the completion and how it's impacting the community at large. And Spirit is sending us flowers. Flowers are a sign of luck and joy and love and gratitude and all those things. So it's being celebrated. What we're creating here is being celebrated because it impacts us, but it impacts the community as well. Anything to do with a major arcana development like this walks in this way. The third card in this deck is the King of Honey, which is the same as the King of Pentacles or the King of Coins. So this is the dude who, represents having everything you need and making sure the community has everything it's needing. This is legacy. This is accomplishment. This is the higher picture, always the higher picture. And curiously, if we're taking on this archetype, it's interesting that from a different deck, we get the Temperance card again. So this obviously is a very important message to us this week, that sometimes what we're creating is beyond what we expect. It's bigger than us, always bigger than us. And the impact is a global thing and is impacting a lot of people. The next card here is the Three of Dreams, which is the suit of air or swords. And it references pain, and it represents when we do something, work very hard, and it's a painful transition. We learn, and our experience is meant to help us move past and not be jaded and not stop. We're not meant to stop moving forward. We're meant to not sit in the pain and dwell in it. We're meant to acknowledge it, assume we understand what it's teaching us, and move on. The clarifying card here is the Five of Wands, which is kind of a card of jousting and battling, and sometimes it's playful and sometimes it's pretty aggressive. But what Spirit is implying here is sometimes the pain is an internal process. We slow ourselves down by picking things apart and punching at things and replaying things and basically snuffing out the fire and snuffing out the passion. And that's what staying too long in this place of pain is going to do for us. We need to grow and go on. We don't need to shut our lives down and stay in this place of self-doubt and pain. It's not meant for us to waste our lifetime. These lifetimes are extremely short and precious. So we learn, we take our experience, and we move on. The Ace of Dreams is a new beginning. So this tells me we are moving on from the pain. We have a new beginning, a new metamorphosis, a new incubating energy coming out of it. And the clarifier, this is a beautiful card. It's the lesson from roses, and it's love yourself first. We can't love others, as with this card, the lovers. We can't love others until we love ourselves. If we can't see the beauty in ourselves, we won't see the beauty in others. And that's just a stunning card. So this is growth. All lives have what we might consider setbacks, but if we don't go through the learning, we never know what's real. Anyway, moving past the ace, here we get very scary looking King of Skins. This is the King of Wands. Who better, along with the King of Pentacles, to lead us in this new adventure? He's looking after his community as well as this king. And they're not, kings aren't gendered. They're just made to look gendered. But if we think of them as archetypes, if we, whoever we are, take on the archetype of the King of Wands, as well as the archetype of the King of Honey, which is the King of Earth, we have the maturity to know how to move forward in the world with this passionate in spiritus that temperance is helping us manufacture. So that's important to know. And the king is clarified by the Knight of Cups. So whatever we bring into the world needs to be brought in with a loving sense of joyfulness. This is not a badass king. This is a very he's forceful as an archetype, but I'm struggling for words here, obviously. It's meant to be with joyfulness and love and respect and endearment. This is not a power steamrolling over other people in terms of what this new spiritual direction and passion, the fire in the belly, so to speak, is doing. And finally, we have the Seven of Honey, which is the Seven of Pentacles, or the Seven of Earth. We're making things happen. We've learned. We're no longer the apprentice. We are still skill building, but we're very adequate and capable of making new things happen during Love's All Things and Cancer. You know, the overarching issue with Cancer is home, the home and hearth, and kind of making blankets in your den and nesting. Coming home to the self is a big part of the sign of Cancer. And Love's All Things is the grandmother. So we're bringing home in a place of love and getting our act together at a divine level. We're alchemizing wherever we've been in the first 6 moon cycles, and now we're bringing it home in the biggest way that we can use home as a metaphor. The clarifier for the Seven of Honey is crossroads. Spirit says that once again, like the end of the journey down here, we're going to find ourselves at a spiritual crossroads, and it's not going to be difficult to make decisions, but just know that this ends the day before a micro full moon. So it's a launching pad. The apogee full moon, as it was last month, allows us to journey and journeying is important. In the shamanic community, we plan months in advance with the knowledge of when the apogee and perigee moons are. So let me just double check. The micro full moon on the 29th, this reading ends on the 28th, so we're already in that energy. So we're going to be doing a journey, and that's going to be aided by spirit. So that's the reading for this week, but I asked Brian to go get the ancestor cards, and when I pulled out the ancestor card for here, the High Priestess came out, and the message is, this is for Heather, Gina, and Pat. So make of this what you will, but the High Priestess certainly goes well with temperance, with how the ancestors are laid out here. Anyway, you can flip the camera, Brian. We thank you for your support, and please, not too many jokes about Silly Hair Day. It was a little warm today, or something. We appreciate all the coffee donations. That's KOFI, and you can see how to do that by clicking on the title of this video where the word more is. So the title plus more, and it will expand the page and give you information about how to get a hold of us. It's still National Indigenous History Month, and it's a very important month for us, so we're quite busy, and I'm still trying to do my Lodge of Withdrawal. So we thank you, and know that we'll be fully functional again next month when our obligations in the community are over for the time being. So peace and blessings. Aho.